welcome to another video. So today we are doing another concealer hack. I did a concealer hack a few months back and I do still really enjoy that one. I don't use it on a daily basis because the product that is being used in that hack can cause melia. So with that one there, I use it either for special occasions or I use it on a day when I'm going to have my makeup on for a really long time. On a day-to-day basis, I usually just wear concealer and a little bit of setting powder. So I was inspired to do this video because I did see a couple of my fellow content creators. They also did this hack. I'll list their channels down below and their videos if you want to go check them out. So this is based on a concealer hack by Wayne Goss. Now, he doesn't take credit for the hack. What it says in his description box is that this is a hack that he saw, so I'm not sure where he saw it from. But it intrigued me because the claim is your under eyes are going to look flawless and not cakey. But what piqued my interest is that he uses a loose setting powder to set the under eye and the concealer. If you're familiar with my channel, I usually don't do a lot of setting under my eye. My under eyes are very dry. So I'm very conscious of what products I'm using under my eye. So I'm always using products that I don't want them to accentuate all of my fine lines. I will come a little closer. I'll show you what I've got going on under my eye. So you can see I've got lots of darkness. When I go like that, I've got lots of little fine lines and wrinkles going on, crow's feet, you name it. I am 55 years old, so naturally I'm going to have those things under my eye. Now, I'm not going to follow the hack exactly step by step how he does it in the video. So one of the first things I'm going to say is a man's skin is obviously going to be a little bit different than a woman's skin. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm also going to be applying some eye cream to prep the under eye area. That's something that I do every single day. I think the type of product you're putting under your eye is very important. So the one I'm going to use today is the Clinique All About Eyes. So this one I find is more of a lighter formula. It's not overly thick. I think that's a little bit of a misconception when it comes to putting cream products under your eyes, is put a really thick product under there and that's going to help with that moisture and hydration. That's actually going to help with the creasing, if that makes sense, because it's such a thick formula under there. That'll contribute to some of the creasing going on under your eye. So I do like using more of a lighter cream. So I just take usually about that much, rub it between my fingers, and I just gently pat it in. So one of the keys is always allowing the product under your eye to absorb into your skin. Let it sit there for a few minutes. Don't rush in right away and start applying the concealer and all that sort of stuff. Let the product sit. And that is not just for eye cream. I do that on my face as well. I always allow the products that I'm putting onto my face a few minutes to set. So that's between my serum, my moisturizer, my sunscreen. I'm always allowing each product to absorb into the skin. And the other things I'm going to do a bit differently compared to his hack on his video is I'm only going to do one side of my face just so you can see if there is a difference. So the one side I'm going to apply the products like he does. The other side, I'm going to apply the products how I normally do my under eye area. I'm also going to do a wear test because I think that's the only way you can really see the true process and if something really does work. So I've given the cream under my eye lots of time to set now. So the hack that he does involves using a loose setting powder. So the one I'm using today is the Mercier. This is just her iconic like translucent loose setting powder. What he does say is any loose powder should do. He uses a liquid concealer. So the one I'm using today is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear. I wanted to use a concealer that I'm very familiar with and I know works on my skin. This is my absolute favorite concealer of all time. He also uses a sponge to tap in the product. Now this is my rougher sponge. It is dampened. And if you wanted to go one extra step, this is one thing that I usually do. I always have some kind of cloth beside me when I'm doing my makeup, just as something to wipe my hands on. One of the things you can do to get all the excess water out of this is I usually just put this in here and I give it a good squeeze. And then that way I know I'm starting with a sponge that isn't like too damp. If it's too damp, it's just going to make your face actually wet. So make sure you squeeze all the little bit of moisture out of there. Now, one of the things that he does say in the video is if you have younger skin, then you can use more powder. If you have older or more mature skin, then less powder. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some of that powder, and I'm not going to dip my concealer right into the powder. I don't want to contaminate it. That's what he does, but I just don't want to contaminate my product. So I am just going to put some into like the lid of the container. I'm just putting this much into the container lid. And what he does say is whatever is on the wand of the concealer, use that. So I have just like that much on there. So I'm going to dip it in, and I am just using... Okay, so as you can see, I've got about that much on. It's not a lot. I just like dabbed it in there. So this is the side I'm going to use the hack on. And I haven't put any color corrector either. All I have under my eye, what you saw, is just the eye cream. And now I usually just kind of, oh, I can definitely, can you see the powder? I'm scared. Okay, I'm going to do it like he kind of does and put it right under there. And bring it up here. Okay, so once he has it to this point where he's just put the concealer on, then he goes in with the sponge and just dabs it in. He uses a triangular sponge, but I don't have one of those. I'm just using my regular sponge. If you've ever watched Wayne Goss, I know the videos that he is most famous for are all of his concealer hack videos, or like not even concealer hack. He just does like a bunch of concealer videos. So this one just kind of looked fun to do. Okay, so right away, oh, you guys, oh no. Okay, oh no. I like, seriously, I'm hoping the camera picks this up. Oh my goodness, does it ever look dry under my eyes? Here, I'm going to see if I can come closer. Here, oh no. Here, I'm going to bring the camera a bit closer. Okay, can you see? Oh my goodness. I may have to do, like right after I'm finished filming here, I'll do one of my tests where I'm in natural light, and then you'll be able to see, but oh, it just looks really cakey. Oh no, can you see how it's all accentuating my fine lines? Oh dear. Okay. Okay, so I was trying to blend this in, and this is just not blending in at all. Like it's just, yeah, it's not blending in. So the other thing that I want to do, so I'm not interfering with the side that I do my regular concealer with, is I'm going to take my wand and I'm actually going to take the product off. Okay, so I've cleaned the wand off. So we're starting fresh with the wand, and I'm going to put it back in, get some product on there. I know I'm actually running really low on this one. I need to pick the like another one up when the Sephora sale starts, which is only in like a few days. I'm going to try and get as much as I can off of here. Okay, so now I'm starting with just the concealer. And this is how I normally do my concealer. Well, I will say kind of, sort of. The only other thing I would do under my eyes is I would put a little bit of color corrector because I am so purple under there. But for the sake of the hack, I'm just using the concealer. And what I normally do is put a tiny bit in there and I run it up along that way. So I'm just going to go in with my Angie Hot and Flashy, the A506 concealer brush, the one with the little kitten paw. And this is how I normally apply my concealer. I either use the brush or I use my finger. Now I do also let the concealer just sit on my skin for about 30 seconds before I start applying it, and I find that also helps blend it in better. And I usually use just like a tapping motion. But right away I can already see that this side is looking more smooth and hydrated, obviously because I don't have any powder on there yet. Now I did also put, before I came on camera, I did put a little bit of my Milani eyeshadow primer on the top to prep my eyelids. Okay, so I did zoom you guys in just a little bit closer now after both sides are done. So this is the side that I do my normal concealer. Hopefully you can see that it is hydrated looking. There's some luminosity to it. and this side is the concealer hack. And it doesn't matter how much I use my sponge. Like, remember, this is a dampened sponge. It doesn't matter how much I'm using the sponge. It still is looking quite dry under here. I mean, it feels, this one still has a little bit of tackiness to it from where I just applied with no powder yet. This does feel a little bit, I'm gonna say soft, like definitely it does feel soft under the eye, but just the fact that I can visibly see the powder, and can you see how it's accentuated right in the hollow of my eye? Can you see how it's accentuated all the little wrinkles? Whereas this side just looks nice and smooth. Well, I was so curious to see how this was going to work out. So we're just going to keep going. I am going to do the rest of my face makeup. I'll just like basically speed through all of that because I want the focus to be on the concealer. And then I will show you guys what a shot looks like in natural light. Now, one step that I did want to show you that I do under my regular process of applying concealer is I go in with my Physicians Formula Better Believe It. Now, this is a pressed powder, not a loose powder, but I find this is what works on my skin. I usually just take like a smaller face brush. So I'm using the BK Beauty, the 108 brush, and I very, very lightly dab into the powder. Is there a difference between loose and pressed? Yes, there absolutely is a difference between the two of them. But this is just kind of what works for my skin. And I take that little bit of powder and I just very gently tap it in under my eye. I don't rub it. And I don't go right underneath my eye. As you can see, this was on purpose. I didn't put any like eyeliner or anything on my bottom, like under my lower lash line. And I also didn't put any mascara there because I'll show you guys in a few minutes when I go do my check with natural light. I just wanted to show you guys if there's any creasing and that sort of thing. So I didn't want to disturb that area. Like I said, I just like lightly dab it in. It still gives me a little bit of setting power to under my eye, but I never look dry and cakey, even at the end of the day. My concealer isn't sliding around on me. It stays in place. And those are the most important things to me personally, like under my eye. So now that I'm finished filming, we are in natural light, and hopefully you guys can see if I bring it the camera a little closer on this eye right here. That's the hack eye. And can you see the little bit of powder? I know it's settling in right in here. I don't have a mirror with me right now, but I'm pretty sure it's right here is where it's, you can see where the loose powder and the concealer have basically stopped right here. And I did a lot of blending with my sponge and that was not budging. Like I was debating whether I should take my fingernail and go like this, but I'm leaving it. I'm just going to leave it. But you can hopefully see how natural this side looks, even with me putting that little bit of pressed powder, how it looks way better. So I'm going to continue on with this wear test and this hack. Definitely, probably not the best one for mature skin. Keep in mind, everybody's skin is different. It may not work on my skin, but somebody that maybe is my age, I'm 55. So even if you're my age, maybe you have more oily skin and this might work for you. I think it's a great hack if you are wanting to make sure that your makeup is really setting in under your eye and maybe you have more oil under your eye. But for me, at this point, I'm going to say it's a no-go. I'm actually quite surprised at how it settled right into my inner hollow right there, where as you can see this side here, it looks fine. And I mean, if the whole hack idea is for it not to look like, for not to crease, okay, I get that, because it's not like if I go like this and you guys can look under my eye here, it's not creasing. Like there's no creasing where I have my my really, really fine lines under there. Like, but that's actually with the type of concealer that I use. That's why I use that Lancome. I don't get any creasing with the Lancome. So I think that also plays a part in how much creasing happens under the eye. Because I've used some really bad concealers and they were higher end concealers. I'm not saying these are just drugstore ones, higher end concealers. It looked really bad under the eye with creasing. But to go along with the hack, it was also meant to not look cakey. And I mean, that definitely is not happening on this side. That looks really, really cakey on me. And you saw, like I showed you guys, I did not use a lot of powder. I just barely dipped my brush in there into that loose powder. I'm going to keep, like I said, I'm going to keep going on. It is now, if you can see here, it is about 11 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I can do a 12-hour. I might be able to do an 8-hour. This is my concern. I'm actually having to run out and do a bunch of errands. So I'm really hoping that nobody's looking at my face here and not doing an in-depth look at my face. So this should be funny. So I'm going to keep on going, guys, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. Hi, everybody. So I managed to make it to the 10-hour mark. It is now... So hopefully the camera can pick it up. It is 9:02 in the evening. 10 hours that I've actually a little bit longer because that was when I did the check-in was about 11 o'clock. I had already started the concealer hack process, so it's actually been a little bit over than 10 hours. So I do have to tell you a funny thing that happened. So my husband came home from work and I told him what had happened, that I, was filming this concealer hack. And again, not knowing how it was going to work out, I actually was on the side of it was going to work on mature eyes and fully believing that it was going to work. And then when the whole process started happening, when I could see how bad it was turning out, I was like, uh-oh. Okay, this is not going to work. Because you have to remember, when as content creators, we're creating the video, we're thinking what the thumbnail is going to look like, we're thinking about what the title is going to be named. And now I was in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to change the title, because the title I had in my head was, I tried Wayne Goss's concealer hack and does it work for mature women? Well, it was shocker. Spoiler alert, we find out in the video that it didn't work. So that's where I had to pivot a little bit. So back to my story about what my husband, I had told him that what had happened during filming and how clearly this was not going to work. Well, because it was still daylight when he got home, and I could see him kind of looking at my eye. And he goes, He says, it looks like a child has put on your concealer. So I was like, all right. Okay, so we aren't going to do very well with this concealer hack. When I, like, seriously, you guys, even when I'm looking in the mirror right now, if I squish my face up, can you see? I'm going to bring you in a little closer here. Hold on. All right, so you're in nice and close now. I'm going to kind of look at the viewfinder here so I can see what it looks like. But when I even go like this, can you see how awful the lines are under here? Like, it's it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Like, look at how it's just accentuating all these lines over here. Now, I'm going to have a bit of, on the good side, I'm going to have a little bit of settling on this side, and my crow's feet are going to be a little bit accentuated on this side. That's just natural. This is, well, like, this is probably almost 11 hours of wearing this makeup. So that's what happens. That's the normal progression of what my makeup looks like by the end of the night. I don't have like the massive amount of dryness and settling over here. I don't have, I call them, I think Angie from Hot and Flashy, she once referred to them as little shark fins. So those are those little lines that you get just in the very corner that kind of accumulate right in the corner. So I thought actually that was a very good analogy. They do actually look like little shark fins. So that's, I don't have, like, I have a tiny little bit, but nothing major. For the little amount of settling that I have here, keep in mind that most days I don't even apply any sort of setting powder under my eye. I usually just put my concealer on. I gauge kind of how does it look, like what concealer am I using? Am I using one that's really hydrating and that's going to really plump the skin? Or am I using one that is a little bit drier? So that also weighs into whether I'll put like setting powder under my eye. The reason I put some under my eye today was because I wanted it to be a little bit similar to the concealer hack. But even now, like when I go like this, my eye still feels very hydrated, whereas this one just feels really, really dry. But I was shocked at how that part right there hasn't budged at all. Like, it's just, it just has not budged. And that, I tried to blend that sucker in, man. That was just, that's incredible. Now, this is off topic, but I really do have to show you this. I used a new mascara in my Physicians Formula video that I just put out. And I did mention in the description box, I gave you a wear test that, you know, I didn't have any flaking or anything the rest of the day. So if you can see, like this is, so I'm wearing the same mascara today. And when I say there was, like, I don't even have a little, like a smidgen of a flake under my eyes at all. And there's no smudging or anything. So that was a really great, this one here, so that's this one here, the Physicians Formula, the brown shade, the mocha color. I'm really liking this. This is a good one. But anyway, that's off topic. Sorry, I thought I would just give you a little bit of an update. So needless to say, super bummed out that this hack didn't work. I really was hoping that it would work. So that just goes to show you how mature eyes, some things just don't work when it comes to those type of hacks. Everything that I used today will be linked and listed down in the description box. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!